I needed me a new pillowcase, so hopefully it fits. Yeah, for $1.25. My poor little pillowcase. Look at that. Thing's so old. Yeah. It ripped all the shreds. So I went and bought one. See how this one works. Ta-da! It works. Yep. I had to go get some chicken and broccoli. It feels so weird. My daughter and them gone, and my son at work. Ain't been long in a long time. You know, so I've been going socializing on weekends. But I took care of my pillow today. I got me a new pillowcase for $1.20. You know, and then they were out of snow peas, so I got 4, and I'm letting them cool off a little bit before I put them in the refrigerator. And the refrigerator was turned down a little bit, so as long as we keep the chair in front of it, it should be good. The woman gave me a whole pocket of candy. I went to get a massage, and she said, "This is ginger." I wasn't too sure about ginger, but not bad, not bad. Kind of like a gummy worm, but a little bit more texture. But if you chew it, it'd get all in your teeth, so you had to kind of let it dissolve a little while. And didn't make you cough or anything, because you know a lot of that stuff kind of coats your throat, makes you cough. But the weather's getting colder. With the air conditioning on in the car, if it's 75 and you got the air conditioning on 60, it doesn't really seem that bad. But when it's 63 outside, now I'm going to have to turn the heat on like 80 in the car. Go figure. Something else. But yeah, everybody's out here doing this trick-or-treating, I guess. And all kind of police riding around, little bitty cars, look like a diesel rabbit. And I think they're police cars, or maybe some kind of weird little car. But who knows? They're probably watching people. Watch out for people. Maybe they're doing trick-or-treating tonight. I done lost touch. And I can't take the... No way. No way. But yeah, we'll start work. And I got a little bit of trouble. Lady calls me at 10:30 at night. Or texts me, say, the other 2 people didn't want to work, and you said you would cover it. And I said, I'm in North Carolina. I wasn't that day, but I was going to be in a few hours. You know, so, well, you said you'd do it. And I said, well, so I didn't respond. I waited till the next day when I got up before I went to the next day. And I said, well, I thought it was voluntary. I did not realize mandatory, because you said you was going to ask other people that wanted to work. So the last minute, and I even told the people where I was at. They said, you know, the things you use with a screwdriver and it. And they said, you had fun, didn't you? You having fun, ain't you? I said, yeah, don't worry about it. I said, I'm probably going to be in trouble. They said, probably, but are you having fun? I said, yeah. So, you know, I just had to have better communication. And then my dumb butt, I said, well, if you want me to, I'll pick up that day. And you don't get no vacation. But, you know, I get off at 2 o'clock, so I can still do something. It just take me 4 hours to get there. After our Christmas party, December sometime. So, you know, but then I wouldn't be able to go nowhere Friday nights unless it was like a local, but I wouldn't be able to go out of town, and hard to get vacation because you had to have a special permit to work in South Carolina compared to Georgia. And the money's not too bad, but I do get 3 miles in a day at work. And eventually maybe I'll start working out again. I kind of miss it, but you got to change clothes, and, you know, you don't do anything, so you wear your outfit 2 days and you're still okay. Now, I guess if it gets hot, probably have to wash it more often. But you only get 3 outfits. I don't know why they don't give you an outfit for a day of the week. But you'd probably wash them more, and then they'd wear out faster. Then they'd have to supply more outfits. But I was going, since I didn't work Saturday, I don't know what she did, what kind of switches she pulled to get somebody to cover it, or she covered it herself. She might have covered it herself. So I wanted to be off November the 3rd for a tax auction. Well, I figured she done told me I kind of had a, very little chance. She said, nobody's going to come in there at 4 o'clock in the morning to relieve you. And I said, well, if I could get off by 8, I got to be there at 9. We'll see, and nobody wants to work. And they don't really pay that much. So nobody is going to want to work any extra. And most of these people have been there 3 years, and they're happy with their schedule. A lot of them retired. One guy fishes on his day off. Another lady spends time taking care of people, and, another one just chilling. So no chance of getting any coverage. So if I want to go anywhere, it's going to have to be Saturday and possibly late Saturday. And it's got to be within maybe 150 miles. Can't be further than that. Can't be 284 miles what I just did. Whew, that's too far. On one day like that, to go up there for like 2 hours and they had to come back. But I did get a good cheeseburger, which is kind of rare. And I do this thing called Fetch Rewards, and it gave me an electronic receipt, and I was able to get 25 points. Because it takes about a year. You can play video games or buy special stuff, and you get about 50,000 points, and that's worth about $50. So it takes about a year, all your receipts, maybe more, because I don't spend as much as I used to. So with my son's receipts, so it'll probably take a year. But about $50, you can kind of go out to eat one place, and have decent. So it's not too bad, or you can add a little bit to it, maybe eat twice. So me and my son do that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, the tax auction, I ain't gonna worry about it. So I moved everything back except for a little bit, and it's just too aggravating to figure out what. I had time, I just didn't have the motivation to do it. Try to figure out which one. I looked at some of them, and some of them were in that neighborhood, and it was a median, and they wanted a lot of money for a little lot. Well, there's nothing you can do with it. I mean, what are you gonna do? Tell people they can't cut across it or open up a fruit stand? I mean, people probably cut across it all the time. Dogs probably going over there. What's the point of owning that? So that's probably why they let it go. They probably bought a tax auction, didn't do the research. But you can look on the map, and some of these have mortgages, and some of them have liens, and environmental, and it's better probably just. This is just something I was looking at. Now, this is what Google told me. Now, 10% average return, even with the ups and downs of the stock market. And I know somebody who's got about 28 years before they hit 60 or 59 and a half. And you got to have it in there 5 years. So if you cannot touch it, and, if we're here and nothing's happened, if you put $7,000 in a Roth IRA, now, you would spend about 28 times 7, a little bit, but you would make $800-something thousand if you got 10% return, and this is after your paycheck. So you got to have $7,000, and then once you hit, I think 50, you can put $8,000, but you got to have it in there 5 years, and you can't really borrow against it without high penalties and all that. But if you could put it away, you'd have $1 million in 28 years. That's just on 7,000 at 10% return. So that's not too bad. But most people spend that much, and when they get 60, they spend it in their lifetime. But it's hard when you got kids and everything, and you can't really save. And everything's went up like 3 times since last 5 years, which is really crazy. Gas going down right now. They got the sales going on. Then the gas will go up like 40 cents a gallon. So, you know, it does it every year. Gas always goes down right here at the that sales. And they say, oh, it's different chemical mixture. It doesn't cost as much. Yeah, right. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Yeah. So, you know, these chickens, deal with them, trying to chill out, relax, miss my little kids. They drive me crazy, but I miss them. They ain't here right now. Then I got to go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. So normally if I went to bed, I got about at least, if I leave at 3, you know, I had to get up at least 1 or 12:30 in order to do my morning routine. And then I'll be holding my eyes open all day. So Mondays are rough. But just chilling out. See what else I can do. Try to get motivated to do something. I have no motivation. I don't want to watch TV. So, you know, I talk to you guys. So, you know, hey, how y'all doing? And, you know, try not to drive other people crazy. You can't tell everybody everything. You overload them. And they've assumed you said something else. So you just go, how you doing? You know, they say something, ask them a question about it. And tell them one thing, you know, it's like chit chat. You can't really overload people, and you got to kind of fill them out to make sure they're receptive and they care, and you know, they're trying to keep what they got to do when they leave the conversation. You know, man, I got to get that creamer or that coffee, or I'm out of toilet paper, and if you talk to them too much, they'll forget, and then there'll be no toilet paper, and they'll be mad you talk to them too much. So you don't mess somebody up on their toilet paper. But that pillowcase, I was able to just pull it with 2 fingers. You know, I feel like I'm getting so strong because my stuff's dry rotted. Pull my sock, rip a hole in my sock. I might have to get some new socks, but I'm gonna wear the ones I got till they get really bad, and then throw away all my socks and buy me some more, so they'll all go bad at the same time, you know, roughly. So, yeah, my feet are the most expensive thing on me. I had to have special shoes. They ruffle my socks. Then you got to pay to cut my toenails. I mean, good gracious, them things are expensive. I need like robot feet, but they probably hurt, you know. Getting cooler, trying to enjoy life, and you know, everybody's trying to make it, the economy and everything. So good cheeseburgers, trying to eat healthier, so I feel better. Yep. So I've got off 2 medicines. I'm not taking them. When I go back to the doctor, they might fuss at me, but I'm trying to control it with diet, you know, because medicine has such side effects. Not medical advice, just what I'm doing. So, you know, if I'm not here, I did the wrong thing. But if I'm still here, maybe I stumbled on to stomp my toe and kept from going and getting hit by the train, you know. You know what I mean? A metaphor, like you do one little prevention thing and then it saved you somewhere else. You didn't even know it. And that's the way, you know, God works with me. I'm like, man, I stomped my toe, and then it saved me from getting hit by a train or car, or, you know. So, refrigerator falls out of an airplane or whatever, you know, off the top of the building, or a piano like cartoons did. And I'll be mad about my toe. Then I realize, oh, man. And then I'm thankful. I stomped my toe. It saved me from getting hit in the head. You know, there ain't much up there, so I can't damage that, you know. But it's crazy, man. The holidays, you can tell everybody's riding around, and I seen some cars for sale at the bank. I didn't look to see how much the things cost nowadays. And then you always think about, I don't really have any money, but you always think about, what can I do? What can I do? I want to do this thing with Intuit where you can get a tax certificate, and then you got to dedicate 20 hours a week on top of what I'm doing. It's like, well, do I want to work myself to death? No, and then you think about buying and selling cars, and I was looking at a YouTube video, and the guy said, yeah, they brought this Toyota in here. Now, I like Toyotas, and I was thinking, okay, this is going to go good. And the mechanic's talking about it, and they said, oh, the transmission was bad. Then the guy had bought it at an auction. So he buys this car, this Toyota, and the guy puts a new transmission in it. Well, now it's running really rough. So he brings it back to the mechanic. The mechanic's looking at it, and there's a sensor, and it's supposed to read off a certain thing that's inside the whatever it is. There's nothing in there. So he looks it up. The people who had the Toyota before, it must have got wrecked or something, they put the wrong motor in. So the computer was wired for a different motor. I guess the CPU unit or whatever it is, it was wired for a different motor. So when they put the other motor in, it ran rough. And he said, well, it's a Toyota, it'll still run. I'm thinking, good gracious, and that might have been what was wrong with my Toyota RAV, because, who would know unless you knew what you was doing. But it ran rough. And the guy said, oh, just ignore it. That's a bunch of sensors. The lights are on. Just ignore it. And I bet that's what was wrong. Somebody probably put a different motor in that Joker. I didn't even know it. So, you're going to try to sell a car that's running rough. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but it runs rough. And you're like, what? So, yeah. Getting late. I got to go put this chicken and broccoli. It was kind of bad today because they were out of snow peas, and they said they should have some tomorrow, but I bought 4. That's 4 days worth of food, and it was a lot cheaper. I got 4 for like $30. Normally, I pay $30 for 3 because I get snow peas. So I wonder if they've been charging me $2 or $3 for snow peas. Makes you wonder, or the sizes are different. I don't know. Let's go look. Nope. That's the regular size. Looks the same size. So they hadn't, that's a old one I kept. My son uses them to do his meal prep. But they only supposed to be charging $1 for snow peas. They had to space them, put them separate so they cool off. They don't feel as cool as it should be. Kind of cool, but not cool as it was. And then I had to put my lock in front of the refrigerator, my stool. Yeah, they're getting in the festive mood. There's skulls everywhere. Somebody's got bony hands. Wonder if that's good luck. Across the... What? Yep. That's what they're doing. I asked my daughter, I said, my son wasn't up yet. I was wondering, I was going to have to take him to work. I was like, where's he at? And then she didn't text me. And then when I took my son to work, I was out riding around. She said, I'm on the way home. I get here, she's not here. But I got my chicken and broccoli, 4 days worth. And that's what it was. They got like Ninja Turtles and other things. So that's what they're doing. They're out. Must be out celebrating Halloween. It's crazy. But happy Halloween. Have a good day. Yep. I'm trying to wind down so I can get a little bit of sleep for tomorrow. Woohoo!